Greetings, everybody. It's Jeffrey Gooderman, and I'm giving an update for the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network right now. I thought I would just share a few ideas that I have. About the Strat-O-Matic Baseball Network. Currently, I am doing a replay of the 1969 season, and it's going rather well if you ask me. We are at about 1,200 and something games out of 1,944, but who's counting? All of the broadcasts, all of the games are being broadcast on this YouTube channel. And I'm enjoying it very much. I really am. But I've gotten to thinking about how I would like to proceed after this. And there are various candidates. One of them is the 1911 season and doing a replay with that. Another option is the 1920 season. They both have their interests. I have concerns about them being all white, before 1947. I feel a little strange about doing that, but it could be done. I could be doing it for historical purposes. 1911 seems so long ago. A lot changed between 1911 and 1920. 1920, in a way, I've researched it, is really the death of dead ball era and the beginning of the modern era. I mean, 1911 is still the modern era, but still. The ball had, in 1920, the ball had double stitches and became much harder. And that's the year that, right in March of 1920, the Red Sox sold Ruth to the Yankees. He ended up hitting 54 home runs, more than all players on all teams combined. Astronomical. And he hit 376, I believe. And so, on the other hand, the 1911, I find that to be attractive. Because this is a truly hold on a sec. This is a truly epic, sort of classic dead ball era baseball. It's a year when I don't know, Ty Cobb was at his peak. God, you had players. You had the 1911 A's, Eddie Collins, and they called it $1 million infield. And one of the things I want to tell you is I originally got the 1964 season and started a replay of that, and then I stopped it because right after about, a couple hundred games, the 69 season came out, and I was getting a little bored with the 64 season anyway. That hasn't happened to me with 69. But I said to myself, you know what? Let me just abandon this. But what I could do is I could do a World Series following the rosters between the Cardinals and the Yankees. And I think that one went to 7. I think the Cards won it. And this was the last season for the Yankees of their dynasty from 1949 to 1964, when they won the pennant every year except 2. 1954 when Cleveland won, and then 59 when Chicago won. So I could do that. That's just a little something I could do. I could get one of the, I think what I might want to do is for a while try some novelty stuff. So I don't know what I could do. If I could afford it, I'd buy everything and then just do all sorts of things I wanted. But if I could get the money going, I could get the 1911 and the 1920 season. I know that seems a bit of a stretch, and I could simultaneously do replays of both. No, that's just it. I'm just brainstorming. I'm just thinking about what I might want to do. I think they also have the 34 season, the 24 season. I'm not sure I'd want to do that. They have a season or two from the 30s. That might be interesting. Something else I've thought about doing. I don't know. I don't know why, but the 50s doesn't really do much for me right now in terms of where my head's at. As far as the 60s and early 70s go, those might be years I might want to look at. Maybe I thought about it. I mean, I don't know if they have 60. I think they have 61, and this is advanced. Okay. They have 61. Don't know how interested I'd be in that. I mean, I like the idea of the Yankees with Barris and Mantle. But I just don't know how much the NL really turned me on. I think they have 62. Now that might be interesting with the Mets the Giants and the Dodgers. The Yankees, I think they took the pennant pretty easily. Uh, you know, 63 is interesting, 65. I don't know if they have 66. 67 is very interesting. The AL is very close, but I don't know. You know, nothing really captures my interest like 69. Okay. I've been through 70 when I was a kid, even though it was basic. I did 70. You know, it's all right. 71, you know. 73 might be interesting if it's available, because that was very close in the NL East. Other than that, there's really nothing that captures my interest. I guess if I had to boil it down, one thing that might be interesting would be if you really want to get into a historical early period for baseball. 1911 would be something else. This was, I'd have to look at history, what was going on. This was when you think about it, it's only 46 years after the end of World War II. I can't really think about that. 46 years later. And this stuff's important to me if I'm doing a replay. I mean, you know, 46 years, that's like from now, if now was 1911, going back to 1977. And, geez, that was a long time ago, but I was a sophomore in college. Lord. So that might be very interesting. And having, you know, John McGraw as the manager for the Giants, I think the Giants ran away with it. And then I think they beat the A's. I'd have to go look that up again. And you had the A's, you had Home Run Baker, and he only got that name, I think, because the home runs he hit in the World Series. But you had a very interesting A's team. You had Baker, Collins, McGinty, geez, I'd have to think about who else. You had Cobb on Detroit, who was, he must have hit over 400. The A's won the pennant. I think the Tigers were very competitive. You had a team called, yeah, so, you know, that should be interesting. I'm not sure. I might do both. You know, what's really interesting is that the 1920 Brooklyn team was called the Brooklyn Robins. And I think it was named after their manager, I think, Will Robinson or something. But they started being called the Dodgers after Trolley Dodgers that year. And I believe they won the pennant, and I believe Cleveland won the AL pennant. 1920 was kind of awesome because Grover Cleveland Alexander was there. Johnson was there. This was the end of his career. So I think there's plenty to take interest in, and I could do a replay and see how it goes, and do my statistics, find a way somehow, whatever it be. Probably using some sort of online figures to keep running statistics on everybody. It would be more time consuming. And of course, finishing it would be almost insurmountable, even more than this, because of the statistics compilations. But I could go along with it with the idea that although I'll never finish, in all likelihood, I would never finish the league. It's in process. You know what I'm saying? And I could even do 1911 and 1924. And even if I could afford it, go with a third league, a more contemporary league, and do all three of them simultaneously. I'm very organized, so I would have no problem keeping my score sheets and my statistics and my teams rather well organized. All right. And I would just, pick, maybe that's what I'd want to do. Pick from these three leagues. And the third league, off the top of my head, if I had to pick one, part of me would want to go with the 68. The year of the pitcher. Gibson, 1.12. McLean, 31 wins. I think Rose won the batting title, 335. I think Yastrzemski won the batting title, 301. And for those of us who like pitching, it might be a very interesting season. So if any of you want to comment on this video, feel free. The reason why I tend to maybe want to do a 68 season or the 73 season, if it's available, is because I know the players. Okay, I know a bunch of players from 1911 and 1920, but not as many. So I'd want to pick maybe a third league, and that's maybe what I would do. 3 simultaneous leagues. And I think that would be just basically what I've been thinking about in terms of new projects once I complete this replay. But for now, I'm going to just go along ahead with the finishing this replay and enjoying this replay. And I want to tell you how much I have appreciated your companionship, your support and interest as we've proceeded along. Take care now.